Hey everybody, welcome to the Blue Ridge Parkway. Now subscribers, you've seen me up here quite a bit, but anybody else watching this video, that's where we are. We're on the Blue Ridge Parkway, about mile marker 50 or so south of Waynesboro, Virginia. The reason I'm going to do this video is because last year I went and rode the back of the Dragon. So since I live in the mountains and I ride on mountain roads, when I went and did that ride, I came away feeling underwhelmed a little bit. I don't want to say it didn't live up to its hype or anything like that, but I had to keep in mind that I live here. I ride these kind of roads all the time. So that wasn't anything different than what I normally ride. So the hype, if you will, is for people that don't live here and they come here and ride these roads. And that's, what I got to keep in mind. So not everybody's familiar with the Blue Ridge Parkway and things like that. So I'm going to do this video on the Blue Ridge Parkway, or more about the Blue Ridge Parkway and how to survive on it without getting into trouble. Because this road is a little bit different than most other roads in America. There's just a few different things that make this a bit unique. So we're going to talk about that, and hopefully you guys get some good information out of it. And a lot of the things I'm going to say will pretty much pertain to any mountain road. So if you go ride the tail of the Dragon and things like that, a lot of the things I'm going to say can pertain to that as well. Some of them won't. Some of them will be Blue Ridge Parkway specific. So without further ado, let's get to it. And the first thing to keep in mind is that whatever road you're using to get to the Blue Ridge Parkway more than likely has a higher speed limit than the Blue Ridge Parkway itself does. So be prepared to slow your ass down a little bit as soon as you get here. Max speed's 45 miles an hour. But even though that may sound slow, don't assume you can just set your cruise control and do 45 miles an hour all the way through this thing, because these curves and things like that are going to slow you down, and sometimes 45 miles an hour is too fast. So keep that in mind. And pay attention to the recommended speeds for curves, because even though that speed may be too slow for your liking, they still are there to let you know that things are about to tighten up and you might want to be on alert or slow down. Get ready, because something's coming. So those aren't there to say, hey, do 25 or 10 around this corner. They're saying, hey, this corner is tightening up. Take care. Next up, stay in your lane. Now, if you notice, there's a yellow line, but no white line. And that's true most of the way on the Blue Ridge Parkway, because the side of the road is usually messed up, and so they don't even bother painting it. The yellow line, that's always there. Stay in your lane. On some of these turns, you may be tempted to cross the yellow line and kind of crimp an apex or something like that. Don't do it. These curves are blind. You don't know who's coming around the damn corner. And if you end up taking it too fast to the outside and end up going wide, you can end up down there. That's several hundred feet, and people may not even know you're down there. So you can either end up as a hood ornament or a missing person just by simply cornering too hot. And the curves out here follow the terrain. So they're not always built as a graceful arc going around everything. They will change radius in the middle of the curve. So don't go into a curve thinking that you've got your speed right, you're going to crimp an apex and you're going to rock it out, because things may tighten up really quickly and you may not see it. So don't try cutting over, go wide in your lane a little bit to get around the turn, but don't cut over to the tight side until you actually see the exit of the curve or know exactly where it is, and then you can cut over and do that and use up your whole lane. Like I said, don't cross over that yellow line and try to use both lanes. Stay in your lane. Next up, pay attention to the road. A lot of the time that you spend on the Blue Ridge Parkway, you're going to be going through a green tunnel and it's just going to be trees left and right. But every now and then it's going to open up and you're going to see that. And it's very tempting to turn your head and look over there and go, wow, look at that shit. But there's a curve coming up, because very few straight spots on this road. So you can get in trouble really fast by not paying attention to the road. So if you want to see the sights, pull over into an overlook like we're at right now. Take your pictures, things like that. Do it there. And make sure you be alert when you're approaching an overlook or exiting an overlook. A lot of times they're right behind a turn, like you see behind me. And if you're exiting, something can come around that curve and you're pulling out in front of somebody. And when you're pulling up, you don't know if somebody's going to be pulling out as soon as you come around the turn. So be careful when you see the signs. There's a kind of a rust-colored sign behind me saying there's an overlook right here. When you see those signs, perk up a little bit. And while you're up here, you're basically going to run into two different types of traffic on this road. That's commuters and tourists. And you need to treat both of them differently. It's hard to tell just by looking at a car whether somebody's local or not. Generally, you can look at the license plate. If they're out of state, probably a tourist. Because people use this road to commute to work. Just like Deals Gap or the back of the Dragon, people live there. And they're on that road all the time. And generally, they're the ones who are going to be tailgating you because you need to get out of their way. The tourists, they're the ones that are going to be driving slow, looking around. And you need to be watching out for them because you never know what they're going to do. So watch out for the two different types of traffic. Now, if you do get up behind somebody that's going slower than you or slower than you'd like to go, don't pass. There's no passing zones anywhere on this road. There are very few, I'll say that. Very few passing zones up here. Just stay behind them. Don't get mad or road rage or anything and go blasting by them. Just pull over at the next overlook, if they don't. A lot of times they'll pull over so you can go by. And you do the same thing. If you get people behind you that's pushing you, don't speed up. Pull over at the next overlook and let them go. Basically all you need to do. And ride like you're prepared to be surprised, because you never know what's going to be on the road. It's not only cars and motorcycles on this thing. There's bicycles, hikers, animals. It's all kinds of wildlife, deadfall in the road. Look behind me, that's where a landslide happened right here. The whole side of the mountain came down, covered the road, and that's how that big boulder's here. So you can find things like that in the road. So be prepared to be surprised when you come around any corner. Now, another aspect in which the Blue Ridge Parkway, and most mountain roads for that matter, differ from a lot of other places is when you're riding in groups. Up here, ride single file. Sit in the interstate and you're not in the Sons of Anarchy. Let everybody use as much of their lane as they want to. Give everybody space. And something else to keep in mind is do not slingshot or yo-yo. What that means is if there's a slow car ahead of you and you're in a group, don't slow down and pull way back off that car and then, go your speed that you want to go until you reach that car again. Don't do that up here if you're in a group. I do it when I'm by myself, but not in a group. Because when that lead rider catches that car again, the tail rider might not even be in the turn yet. And suddenly people are braking for something other than the turn, and you can catch people out behind you. So don't do the slingshot yo-yo move when you're in a group. Solo, you're fine, but don't do it in a pack. And the last thing to really talk about is there's no fuel available up here. There's no gas stations on the Blue Ridge Parkway. You have to exit the parkway and go to a town somewhere to get fuel. The number of places to get something to eat or even drink or even go to the bathroom is few and far between. Pretty rare. There's only maybe one handful of places in the 400 some miles on this thing that you might be able to get a snack at. Not all the overlooks have picnic tables or even trash cans. So be prepared to hike your stuff out of here. So with any luck, hopefully this video turns out to be halfway entertaining and somebody gets something out of it. So if you're planning to visit Virginia and travel on the Blue Ridge Parkway, now you got a little bit more of a heads up on what's going on up here. And hopefully everybody has a safe trip. Take care and I'll catch you next time.